All right, guys. I'm taking my daughter to the dentist this morning, so you guys get me over recording. This is section 1-3. The assignment's page 31, up here at the top of the page. What you'll need to do first is go down to send somebody down to my room if you're not already in my classroom, and get these notes for everybody that are on that rolly cart at the back of my room. So somebody go grab those and pass those out to everybody. So pause this and then they can go get that. And I'm going to go ahead and get started. So midpoints is what we're doing for this section. We just got done doing the distance formula, and I'm going to write that on here also because you just need that much more review on it. We'll be dealing with distance formula a lot. So you're subtracting the x's, x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1. And you square each one of those. This is kind of like your a squared. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. But instead of taking this c squared, you're doing just c. And taking the square root of a squared and b squared. Okay. Midpoint is a little bit different. Whenever I say you're finding the midpoint, I always say it's like finding the average. Okay. So finding the midpoint on a number line. They give us an example here, and they say that A, which is the left-hand edge of this picture here, is about 15 inches from where they start the ruler at. And then point B, which is the right side of the picture, is 37.5 inches from the edge. Okay. And they want to know where exactly the middle is, right there. Okay. So what we did in the other class is we took 37.5 and we subtracted 15. Okay, and that's 22.5. So basically this right here is 22.5. Okay, half of that would be 11.25. So basically we can say that the distance from here to here is 11.25 because it's half of that. And then we can add that on to the 15 to get all the way to the edge here. So 15 is this right here, added to this right here will give you the middle. So that would be like 26.25. And that's my solution. Okay, now there's a better way of doing that, and it is finding the midpoint or the average. So what I can do is 15 and 37.5, which were my original measurements. I can add those two together, divide by 2, finding the average. 15 and 37 is like 56.5. Divided by 2, that's 26.25. A lot faster than, the other way of doing it. Okay, so finding the midpoint is like finding the average. When you're finding the midpoint for two coordinate points, like -6, 3, and 1, 0, what we can do is we just average the x's together and average the y's together. Okay, so that's like the formula up here, x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So you're averaging the x's and averaging the y's. So -6 plus 1 divided by 2, and 3 plus 0 divided by 2. Okay, -6 plus 1 is -5, divided by 2 is negative like 2.5. Okay, 3 plus 0 divided by 2 is 1.5. And this would be exactly the middle of these 2 points here. Okay, all right, then they make it just a touch harder, and they say find the coordinates of J. So that's what we're looking for. If K is the midpoint of JL and L has the coordinates 3, -5. So basically I have a line going on here where J is this side, L is this side, and K is exactly in the middle. And they give us the coordinates for K, -1, 2, and L is 3, -5. Okay, and then I don't know what J is. Okay, so how can we figure this out? What I can do is give this guy the coordinates x comma y. Okay, and we don't quite know what that guy is, but let's just think about the x coordinates here, 3 and -1. Okay, 3 and -1, there's a distance of 4 in between those guys, right? 3 and -1. It's basically like I'm subtracting 4 to get from 3 to -1. So what I could do is I could subtract 4 again from -1 to get -5. That's how that guy is going to work. Okay, and then doing the other one, I have -5, and to go from -5 to 2, I am adding, 7? From -5 to 2, you're adding 7, so let's add 7 again, plus 7 on to +2, and that will give me 9. So negative 5 comma 9 would be my coordinates there for the new point, okay? You could check your answer by doing negative 5 plus 3 divided by 2 will give you negative 1. 9 plus a negative 5 divided by 2 will give you 2. Okay, so you can check that. But, you know, just kind of working backwards, negative 5, 9 is your point, all right? Example 4, find the measure of PQ. So this is ultimately what I'm looking for. If Q is the midpoint, circle that word, midpoint, okay? If he is the midpoint, not only does he live in between P and R, but he is exactly in the middle of P and R, okay? Which means that this length here will be exactly the same as that length there, okay? And so what I can do is I can say 9y minus 2, which is this left side, is going to be equal to 14 plus 5y, which is this side, okay? They're exactly equal to each other because Q is exactly in the middle, okay? And then I just solve, so let's subtract 5y. And I'm going to add the 2 at the same time. So 9y minus 5y is 4y equals 16 divided by 4. And y is 4. But that's, excuse me, that's not the only thing that they're wanting me to solve for. They want me to find the measure of PQ. Okay, so PQ is the 9y minus, what was that, minus 2? 9y minus 2. So I'm going to plug 4 in for y, because that's what we solved for. Oh, I don't want that. 9y minus 2, so 9 times 4 is 36, minus 2 is 34. So this side is 34, and really, if we plugged 4 back in over here, we would find that that was 34 also. Okay, so it didn't really matter which one we plugged in, but they wanted PQ. PQ is 34. Okay, all right, find x on AF. So from A to F, they're saying on AF. A is at negative 7, F is at 5. Great. How far is it from negative 7 to 5? Well, it's 7 units from negative 7 to 0 and 5 units from 0 to 5, which is a total of 12 units apart, okay? Or you could do 5 minus a negative 7. That's that y, or I don't know, x2 minus x1, 5 minus a negative 7. So that gives me 12 units. So 12 units in between A and F, okay? They want 1/6 of that distance, okay? So 1/6 of 12 would be like 1/6 times 12, and that's just going to be 2 units, okay? So I want 2 units from A to F. So we're starting at A and we're going to F, but we're only going 2 units. So from A to F, x, which is my point right here, they're saying find x. X is going to be located at negative 5 because that's 2 units from A on its way to F, okay? Not too hard there. Okay, now they're going to give us a line where it's not completely horizontal. It's going to be like 2 points like N and M here. N is negative 3, M is 2, 3, and they're saying 1/4 of the distance from N to M, okay? So from N to M, 1/4 of this distance here would be like half of the distance. This would be 1/4. This would be 3/4. So my 1/4 of the distance is going to be about this like little star right here, okay? And so what we want to do is find the coordinates of that point. Now, looking on this from N to M, let's figure out how many he's going to the right and how many he's going up. So from N to M, he's going to the right. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. And he's going up from negative 3 to positive 3. That's 6 units. Okay, so he's going to the right 5 and up 6. Okay, and I want to go 1/4 of those distances. So I'm going to multiply them by 1/4 each one, okay? 5 times 1/4 is going to be about 1.25. 6 times 1/4 is 1.5. So rather than going to the right 5 units and up 6 units, I'm only going to go to the right 1.25 units and up 1.5 units, okay? So I'm going to start with negative 3 through negative 3 because it's saying from N to M. N is where I'm starting from. This is my start guy, okay? So I'm starting with negative 3 through negative 3, and I'm going to the right 1.25, and I'm going up 1.5, okay? Since I'm going to the right, Going to the right is a positive, and going up is a positive. So I'm going to be adding 1.25 and 1.5 onto those coordinates, okay? So negative 3 plus 1.25 is going to be negative 1.75, and negative 3 plus 1.5 is negative 1.5. So that's going to be my new coordinate point, which is about right here. So if I was going to the left instead, we would be subtracting. If I was going down, then I would be subtracting, okay? But going to the right and going up, I'm adding each time, and so I just add those onto the x and y coordinate, okay? All right, example 7 is very, very similar to that, except they write it as a ratio from 1 to 4, okay? So find C. Oh, wait, what would we name this guy? Find R. So R is the point, negative 1.7, comma, negative 1.5. Okay, so this one is find where C is located on AB such that the ratio of AC to CB is 1 to 4. So what they're saying here is AC kind of has a length of 1 and CB has a length of 4. Okay, so we have to kind of ask ourselves, is C going to be closer to A or is it going to be closer to B? Well, since AC has a length of 1 and CB has a length of 4, C is going to be closer to A than it is to B. So kind of like this length right here is a length of 1, and from here to here has a length of 4. So we're kind of sectioning this guy off into 5 segments, right? From one length and 4 lengths, that would be five units going across there. And it's kind of like what they set up here where it's 1/4 of the distance. Now we're going 1/5 of the distance, okay? So when they write that as a ratio from 1 to 4, that's really saying 1/5 of the distance from A to B, okay? So now I'm going to erase some stuff over here. Let's write out and let's figure out how far A is from A to B, okay? So I always start with my right or left because that's the x coordinate. So in the x direction, from A to B, we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm going to go ahead and do Y. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so from A to B, we went to the right 5 units. From A to B, we went down 4 units, okay? So we want 1/5 of the distance. 1/5, 1/5, okay? So I'm going to only go to the right 1 unit because 5 times 1/5 is 1. 4 times 1/5 is equal to 0.8 or 4/5, okay? So 0.8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going from A to B. So I'm going to start with the coordinates of A, which is at negative 4, 6, okay? And I'm going to the right one, so I'm adding 1, but I'm going down 0.8, so that means I'm going to subtract 0.8 from the y coordinate, okay? And that's going to give me my new points, so negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. 6 minus 0.8 is going to be 5.2. Okay, so negative 3, if I plot that negative 3, 5.2 is going to be right about there. And that's 1/5 of the distance from A to B. Okay, so those are a little bit harder, but just kind of think them through. There's a lot of steps going on with that, but just think out your steps really clearly. Okay, that's the last example. Homework, again, is up here, and use the rest of your time to work.